Welcome, nerds, to the All Things Nerd podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd. Chad, I hope you had a good week. Before we get into some housekeeping, uh, cheers.
Cheers. Nerd. All right, everyone. Just like Jake said, a little bit of housekeeping. If you're a fan of the show and want to become a premium subscriber, please head on over to our Buy Me a Coffee, which is over at buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd. There you get some behind the scenes, unedited interviews. You get access to our pre-show warm-ups where we talk about random topics. Some are nerdy, some are not, while we have a couple of drinks and get in the mindset for the regular episode. This week we talked about the solar probe drone that NASA launched at the sun, it's the closest that we've ever come to a star with some video and audio. It was a
It's like 61 kilometers. Did I get that number way wrong?
3.8 million.
Yeah, that.
Woo!
It's close. It's close.
Yeah, 61, 3.8 mil. Yeah. And then we also talked about some of our excitement for sports and the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. But again, that's buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd. The Minnesota Vikings play on this recording day of ours.
Yeah, literally. Well, by the time we're done here, it'll probably be like 3.5, 4 hours away. Minnesota at Detroit.
Both teams
Both
14 or
both
2.
teams 14-2. Winner of this game gets a bye week and home field advantage on their next game. Loser of this game has to play three back-to-back fucking away games, and that sucks dicks.
Yeah, because, this is for the playoffs, and this is for the division title as well.
Mm-hmm.
So winner of that becomes the champion of the AFC North, or is it all of the AFC? That's besides the point. Then it goes into the playoffs. The Minnesota Vikings have a terrible record of not making it past the first round of the playoffs. So it'd be awesome to automatically go to round 2 with a bye week.
Yeah. And home field advantage
and
for
home field advantage.
Yeah.
Because the Vikings also don't have a very good track record of going into the playoffs as the visiting team.
One of the fun things about this game tonight is the Minnesota Vikings did something that's kind of genius. So one, it's in Detroit, which is not that far from Minnesota. So a lot of Vikings fans make that trip to this game, to that
It's like
stadium.
a seven
Is it
and a half hour drive.
Ford Stadium or something like that? Whatever, doesn't matter. Detroit.
Yeah.
And so the Minnesota Vikings bought $2 million worth of seats at the Detroit Stadium and then sold those tickets to their fans for dirt cheap to try to take that edge off of the home field advantage a little bit. And I think it's so fucking smart. I love it.
Yeah, because
And it's hilarious.
it is hilarious. Because U.S.
Because
Bank
Detroit,
Stadium. Oh,
yeah,
go for it.
sorry. No, no, no. Detroit fans are just like losing their minds about it. They're like, this isn't fair. And it's like, you guys could do the same thing. Your
Yeah.
team can also do this. It's not illegal.
Yeah.
Like,
And there's very little regulations for scalping
yeah.
with professional sporting events. But like you were saying, to take away from that home field advantage aspect, U.S. Bank Stadium for, I think, 2 years in a row, because of how loud it is, how packed it gets, because it's a beautiful stadium on top of that. A lot of people, like last year, we weren't a very great team, but, we're going for the experience. It's so loud there that U.S. Bank Stadium has the highest number of visiting team like penalties for false start, offsides, stuff like that, because it's just so loud.
Yeah.
So by the Vikings buying a bunch of these tickets to take away that home field edge, and then
Hmm.
pack it with the same people that would fuck that shit up for visiting teams at home,
Yeah.
like that's genius.
I think for people, maybe some people don't understand like what home field advantage really does. If you are a football fan in any way, I remember when the Metrodome was still up, right?
Hmm.
And we had Brett Favre back then, and the stadium was so loud that the cameras were literally shaking
Yeah,
when the Vikings were on the field. And so it was that's what it is. There were times where Brett Favre had to like tell the crowd to like calm down because he couldn't hear. You
yeah,
know, like that's the point of home field advantage. Your fans are gonna wait till the opposing team's quarterback is trying to listen to the play calls, and they make as much noise as possible so that they can't hear the play call, and then it fucks them up.
yeah.
That's home field advantage. That's what it does.
I mean, if you've ever been to a professional sporting event, you'll see on the screens like make some noise
Yeah,
when the visiting team
yeah.
is needing to pull out some sort of clutch or big play or something like
Not
that.
to not to like mansplain this to anybody, but just
Right.
in case there are some people, we know that this is a nerd podcast and sports sometimes doesn't fall into that category. But
Yeah.
we are both Minnesotans. We love Minnesota. We love Minnesota sports. So we're stoked
Unfortunately,
about this.
sometimes,
Yeah.
like to a fault.
I literally I know I've told you this and I think I've told probably everybody in my life that, and I've maybe even said it on this podcast probably, but my grand my grandfather, who his name was Tom, he got me into uh football. On the holidays when they would my grandparents would come over, he would like make me sit down on the couch and watch the Vikings with him, and he would explain everything to me because I didn't know anything about it. And he's
Yeah.
like, "This is what this means. This is what this means. They need to do this, blah blah blah." And that's what got me into football. He died, rest his soul, without ever seeing the Vikings win a Super Bowl or go to a Super Bowl
Depending on when he died, uh,
without winning. We'll say winning,
they've only been to one
but
Super Bowl, I think, in
yeah,
franchise history, maybe two. But
I don't want that to happen to me.
yeah,
You have to win before I die. I've only got 15 to 20 good years left in me. And that's being generous to myself.
well,
Uh,
you did say good,
good
good
years,
years.
yeah. Um, when and if the Vikings win the Super Bowl, I honestly think I'm gonna cry.
I will.
I'm gonna cry. And it'll probably be because it'll like bring me back to that like memory of my grandfather and myself. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
I'll cry.
since I've
And I will fight anybody who challenges the fact that they won a Super Bowl. If you give me an excuse, they only won because of this, send me your address. I'm fucking showing up.
yeah, it's on site.
Yeah.
I could keep talking about this, but I feel like we
Yep.
should move on.
Totally.
We
Yeah. Yep.
have,
Yep. Yep. That's why I
uh,
said we need to like rapid fire these.
yeah,
But
we've got a
we're
couple of
fine.
weeks because we did take off last week for the holidays. We hope all of our listeners enjoyed their time with family, friends, whatever sort of traditions you have. We
Yeah.
hope it was a good time. Uh, During these past 2 weeks, the entire season 3 of Marvel's What If dropped. They like they did last year. It was an episode a day, but they did it so that it ended on like the 30th instead of ending on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, whatever they did last year. Um, but yeah, so What If is officially done. It was the final season.
Hmm.
What do you think of this season?
I'm not done with it.
Oh no!
Yeah,
How many episodes
yeah,
do you have left?
a lot.
So
No, no, like three episodes left.
the heavier weight of the episodes
Yeah.
of the season.
Unfortunately, that's one of the, and I don't mean this in a mean way. I said unfortunately, but I meant unfortunately that I haven't finished it, not unfortunately my following statement. That is a show that I watch with my wife. She's very into that show as well. So I can't, or I could watch that without her, but it'd be a dick move.
Yeah,
So I don't watch
and
that without
no, I'm
her,
just kidding.
and so but yeah, we're almost done.
Well,
From what we've seen, I really liked it. I think you were a little unfair with episode two because you said that episode two sucked, and I really enjoyed episode two.
which one was episode 2?
The Bucky
Oh,
one
then it
and
was episode 3 that I was not the biggest
uh
fan of. I couldn't
yeah,
remember
that
which one came out first because I
with like
watched
Tia
both of
is
those.
it
That
Tiamat and all that.
with Howard the Duck and Darcy. Oh, am I forgetting an episode? Probably.
Yeah, it was a Winter Soldier episode. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, with and the Red Guardian faction.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one was fun.
Yeah. The
Um,
first episode I didn't really care for. It was basically like Hulk gets split from Bruce Banner and becomes Godzilla, and then the Avengers become the Power Rangers and like Zord out.
Voltron.
Tomato potato.
Oh yeah, see, or episode 2 was the Agatha is like a
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that was a fun one too. Yeah, I
yeah.
really liked that one.
That one was okay.
Yeah,
It was of the first few episodes.
yeah. Oh,
That was a
and I
stronger
really,
one.
I've always, and this may be biased because I'm Indian, but I didn't like the screen time that Kingo had in the Eternals.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't enough of it. I thought he was super cool. His power was pretty cool. And then he was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do this."
Yeah,
And he just bailed. And so this was kind of cool for me to watch, because we got more Kingo, which is dope. And it
yeah,
was Kumail voicing, you know,
yeah,
reprising that role. So it was cool.
yeah. It was episode 4, the Howard the Duck and Darcy episode.
Nice.
Have you seen
Yeah,
that one yet?
I think so.
Okay.
There was a moment where I woke up on Nicole's shoulder and I was like, "What happened?" She's like, "We're going to bed." And I was like, "Okay." So
What happened? Bedtime.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I might have missed some, but I'll have it finished by next week.
I mean, the second half of the season was really awesome, and that Howard the Duck, Darcy having a egg hatchling, whatever of their own.
Gross.
Um, it comes back, so it wasn't
Give it
just like
back.
it wasn't a fully just like nonsense episode. Um, so I guess there's that.
Mm. Okay. Well, what did you think about it overall? And then let's wrap this up because we have a shit ton to get to.
I mean I loved the first season so much. The second season was still really good. The way that season 3 ended, I really enjoyed. Um, plus, you get to see some characters that haven't been available, um, like Storm. Storm shows up.
Mm.
We know this from the trailer, so I'm not
Hmm.
gonna ruin anything more
You're
for you
fine.
there. Um, but getting to see the X-Men alongside some Avengers and Marvel characters that we haven't been able to see is really cool. So it was nice. I enjoyed it.
Sweet. Uh, a movie that we saw.
Yes.
It was amazing. A lot of it's there's been no gray area with this. It's been either people liked it or they didn't like it. But it was Nosferatu. It was really good. That's my best impersonation. It was not good. My impersonation wasn't good. The movie was fantastic. Not only was this one of the best, one of the best horror movies I've seen in a long time, it was probably one of the best horror movies that I've seen. They did so good.
I haven't seen as many horror films as you, but I can definitely agree.
Yeah,
I
fucking hell.
loved it. There was a couple of parts that one very creepy and gross,
Yeah.
and there was we didn't film the quiet part out loud. That was also quite gross, but it happened.
It was an insertion noise that we did not need.
Oh, that one too. Yeah, I was
What
talking
part were
about
you talking about?
Aaron Taylor Johnson in the crypt.
Oh,
Yeah.
also an insertion thing that we didn't need. Uh,
Basically, a lot of the insertion we didn't need.
it was so good. It was so well written. It was really well acted. Uh, Bill Skarsgård does not disappoint ever. Nicholas Hoult does not disappoint ever. Uh, Willem Dafoe obviously never fucking disappoints.
Yeah.
It was so fun. It was scary. There were parts that even like creeped me out, and I fucking love horror movies, and that's what I love about it too,
Hmm.
is getting creeped out by it. So there was some surprising parts. A spoiler alert, by the way. Uh,
Yeah.
there are some surprising parts. One of my favorite things in this movie, again, spoiler alert, I'm going to ruin something for you. Um, Something that happens in a lot of horror movies is that when it comes to kids, whoever's writing those movies are like, let's not kill the kids. That's
Hmm.
fucked up, you know. To the point where they even, I think one of the newest like Michael Myers or whatever adaptation, uh, there's like a part where a baby is like crying after Michael Myers like slaughtered it, the whole family, and he like looks at the room and then like walks away, and I was like, you pussy, like,
Yeah.
and and I advocate for killing the kids. Every time I see like a horror movie and there's like a kid that they should have killed, I'm like, kill him,
Yeah. It
and
makes sense for like a murderer, psychopath, or something that they.
monster, demon, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
why would
not.
they have empathy for? Yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Exactly. Like it's placating to.
yeah. They they don't they don't do that in this movie.
Yeah.
They kill the kids.
That was a very rough scene though too.
Yeah,
So like
I was like,
you're like advocating for it, and we had this conversation afterwards. You're like, I'm always like, why wouldn't they kill the kids? And then you
mm.
saw it, and you're like, oh, as a father, that hurt.
Yeah. It was really gruesome.
You're
It
like,
was like a
kill the kids. Oh my god, he fucking killed
because
the
it
kids.
because it wasn't just like you walked in the room and the kids were dead. Like you walked in the room and he was in the process of murdering those kids, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's rough. And then kills the unborn one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
By
I mean, it was.
by killing the very pregnant mother. Another thing
It
that
was. I told you. Spoiler alert.
yeah.
That's if you did not heed my warning. Let's see. Give us your best Nosferatu. My voice can't get that deep. I always think I have a deep voice, and then I hear myself talking on these podcasts, and I'm like, holy shit, I sound like a pussy. So I can't get my voice deep enough for that. But give
Uh,
it. You got to roll your R's. Get it.
you need to just be bitter.
That's pretty good. Yeah, deeper voice
I
than
didn't know
me.
what to
I think that was good.
say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the entire cast fucking kills it.
Yeah.
And even though, I mean, it's like maybe a quarter or a third of the way through the movie when you actually see Count Orlok, like a lot of it, he's still shroud and shadows moving
Love
forward
it.
because that's something that
Love it.
you have always brought up about horror films is like, especially monster films, is showing the monster too early.
Takes
Or
the scariness away.
yeah, and even though it wasn't like a final moment thing where we see him,
Mm.
the way that they kept him, you only see like bits and pieces throughout.
Mm.
So there's still a lot of mystery between like how yeah, until that part. Um, and yeah, I mean, I thought that. I mean, I like vampire, werewolf, that type of like monster movie because
Mm.
also most of the time they're not that scary. Let's be honest. Um,
30 Days of Night, I thought was a really good one. That was kind of scary.
I've never seen it.
See it.
I will. That's the Josh Hartnett one, right? Where he up in Alaska.
Hmm.
Yeah, I will. I will see it. Um,
If you need me to watch it with you and hold your hand, I will,
yes,
because I
please.
love that movie.
Uh, no, but I mean this movie was incredible.
Yeah.
Uh, mostly, almost all of it was practical effects.
Hmm.
Even just like light work for like the shadow of the hand. One thing that I thought was really cool when they did have like aerial drone shots, but like the shadow of his hand was still creeping across the town as the plague was spreading. As his shadow passed over like the buildings that had lights, the second that they passed, the lights didn't turn back on. So it
Yeah.
was like, I thought,
Robert Eggers, man.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the cinematography on top of everything was just, mwah, it was so good.
Hmm.
I really enjoyed it. Anything else about
Nope.
this?
Move on. We have
Okay,
so much.
we have a couple of episodes of Skeleton Crew that have come out. Um, I'm loving the show more and more every week. Not that I was ever not liking it. I was apprehensive before it came out because I was like, oh, it's going to be for kids. And you're like, yeah, but like, it feels like the Goonies. And I was like, oh, open mind going in. And I'm like, this is so fucking good.
Yeah.
But each episode, you are reminded that they are kids. Like, they're not
Yeah.
shying away from that, from them suddenly being like brave heroes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, you see that they are just like a bunch of 11 and 12
Dumb.
year olds.
I was like dumb kids.
But yeah, same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dog made a weird noise, but she's just sleeping. So I was like, what the fuck is going on back there?
Yeah. I'm really liking Jude Law's character.
Yeah.
Um, is it Jod?
Mhm.
Yeah. He's interesting to me because he's a pirate. He's given me the Jack Sparrow feels, where he's kind of a good guy, but then he stabs everybody in the back, even
Yeah.
if they're kids, you know. But then
Yeah.
he's kind of a good guy again, but then he's not, you
Yeah.
know. I like it. I like it quite a bit.
Like, he still has some sort of like moral compass, but at
The
the end,
code,
but at
the
the
pirate's code.
yeah, but at the end of the day, he's still out for himself. So he's like,
It's a pirate.
when it makes sense, I'm gonna be the good guy. But if I can benefit from it, I'm definitely gonna
Exactly.
benefit from
Only if it works for me. Yeah,
it.
that's
Yeah.
what. Yeah. I code.
What?
Sorry, I said I the code.
Oh,
I'm just Pirates of the Caribbean. Sorry,
going parlay on this one, huh?
it's more of a guideline.
100%. Because again, pirates, they be some spicy devils.
We gotta pretty cool. I thought it was a really cool thing because I didn't really know what was going on with KB for a while. But
Mm,
then they mentioned that there was an accident. So KB is not, or at least wasn't, an android at some point, and there was some sort of accident. She got fucked up, and then they saved her by turning her into an android.
yeah,
What that accident is, we don't know, but
we might
it's
find
really
out. I don't
sad.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was really cool because she basically starts like her like battery is dying,
Mm-hmm.
and she has to talk
Whim.
uh Wim uh, through like making a new battery out of like scraps. And it
Yeah.
works, thankfully. But I thought that was really cool
That was really
because
cool.
I didn't really know what to think about her character. She's been kind of or they've been kind of weird. Um,
Yeah.
and I was like, is it an android or are they a person? Like I with
Yeah.
like I didn't with like autism or something. Like I didn't know.
They kept
And
just calling it the latest episode, just saying like their OGs, their
yeah.
their augmentations,
Hmm.
stuff like that. And it seems like for most of the show, KB has been like 100% I'm with Fern.
Hmm.
And Fern was like, we got to do this. And KB, instead of just being open about it and throughout the episode eventually gets there, instead of being like, I can't do that because my OGs are, need to be maintained and it's hard, fights back. So then they
Hmm.
split up. So we see Neil and Fern take the more treacherous way back to the ship, and Wim and KV take the roundabout way. Their way ends up
Where
being a little too slow.
where they run into Shiny from Moana.
Shiny. Yes.
That was Nicole's joke. I can't steal that.
Ah.
But it made me
Oh,
laugh
you
quite hard.
suck, Jake. Get Nicole in here. We'll finish the episode.
Yeah. Eh. They're sleeping.
Oh, why'd you yell?
She can't hear me. She probably doesn't have her hearing aids in.
Ah, fair.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm really liking the show. Um, we got a little tiny bit more of a glimpse at who maybe the captain is. Maybe. They talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if I missed something that
I don't
you
think
you
so. They
picked
don't
up.
give anything away. They just
Oh.
talk about the captain more, and it's like, ooh, who is it? And I think there's only 2 episodes left.
Uh, tell him that joke while I look.
Chad.
Oh,
Ah, ah. Sorry, bud.
low hanging
Um,
fruit, my guy. You did not need to go that.
give you some low-hanging fruit.
Bet you would.
Um,
Uh, yeah, there's only 2 episodes left.
yeah. So I think we're gonna find out.
Who do you think it is?
I'm thinking now, with only 2 episodes left. I think I'm kind of siding with you here. I think it's Wim's dad.
Yeah, I'm.
It's the only thing that makes sense. It's one of the parents. If even if it's not him, it's one of the parents for sure.
We haven't met KB's parents, but what if it's KB's parents, and that's what the accident was the ship crashing?
Ooh. Because it was crashed. Ooh, that's a good theory. I like that.
That just came to me.
But it did. Oh, you said to you, not on you. Got you.
Wow. Quiet part out loud, bud.
Fuck yeah, that's a good theory. I like that. I actually really like that.
Same. That's why I said it.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, fuck, the next episode's out 2 days from today, so
Yeah.
woof.
Woof. Tell us about our first sponsor. I tried setting you up, but then we kept talking. So,
It's okay. It's okay.
Spicy pirates.
Uh, oh, is that what you did?
Yeah.
That's a really lame setup.
Speaking of spicy pirates. Sorry.
We're going to talk about our title sponsor. Sponsor number one is Crybaby Craig's hot sauce. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce. It goes on practically anything. Listen up, we'll tell you more about it.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today. All right, nerds, it is time for Trivial Nerd Suit. This week's question is for Jake. It is provided by me, Chad. If you would like to submit a question to try and stump one of us, win some merch, win some prizes, please reach out to us on our website over at www.allthingsnerdpod.com/trivialnerdsuit. Use the contact form. Just mention who the question is for. This does go to a third party. That way, neither of us can cheat. Jake, are you ready for your question?
Yeah.
All right, here it comes. So, with the release of the Nintendo Switch 2 being announced,
You motherfucker.
what?
Oh, just nothing.
Oh, with the release of the Nintendo Switch 2 being announced, what were some of the original products and or services that Nintendo offered back in the early to mid 1900s before arcade games?
What do you mean, services?
They had like service businesses. It wasn't just like a product.
Hmm.
But if you can name one of the three that they're most known for, we'll count that as a win.
Plumbing? That was a joke.
Oh, yeah.
Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
What there is a Nintendo Switch 2, there are real products or services that were offered back in the early mid 1900s before their arcade games.
Yeah, so like from 1908, I think was their founding. Might have been 1898 to like post World War II, but before arcade games became popular.
I got nothing. I have no idea.
Well, I have a hint for you.
Okay. Oh yeah, the hint. Duh.
So the services catered to businessmen and possibly, allegedly, the Yakuza. The Japanese mafia.
I know, but what? Um.
Oh,
I got nothing.
I love
Nothing.
this because I talked about the documentary a couple of weeks ago.
I had nothing. I got nothing.
So originally they had playing cards, and then they owned a taxi service and a series or like a chain of love hotels.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah, that's the point.
Interesting.
That's what they were there for.
I did not know that at all.
Hmm.
I'm not a big gamer though. You know that, fucker.
Well,
What? I don't care.
you
But
you got me
what
on
was
a
the
Nintendo question last episode.
well, what was the other one that you were like, you're totally gonna get this one?
With the release of the original Game Boy, what was the game that was sold with it?
With Game Boy?
Yeah, with the original Game Boy.
Oh my God, I do know it because I had a Game Boy.
What game came with it? I can give you a hint for that one too.
I guess.
There was it wasn't a documentary, but it was like a dramatized history movie starring Taron Egerton about this.
Taron Egerton.
Mm-hmm.
What? That came with it. I had a Game Boy.
And you had an original Game Boy,
I
so
did.
you had this game.
But yeah. And Taron Egerton was in the movie.
Yeah, he played the guy that made this happen. The game was originally Russian.
That's not helping. Taron Egerton?
Geometric
Hmm.
falling blocks.
Tetris?
Yeah,
What movie?
it's called Tetris.
Oh, I didn't see it. I remember you told me about it that you watched it.
Yeah,
And I was like, "Oh, was it any good?" And you were like, "Yeah, it actually is good." And it had something to do with like the mob or something like that
yeah.
was
The Russian mafia was trying to block Tetris getting out of
block.
Russia.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yes, I should have known that. Well, you had me 0 for 2 on this one.
Woo! Did it. Well,
Huh.
let's talk about some nerd news then.
Yep. Gotta redeem myself here.
Well, the first thing from nerd news was something that you told me about.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, and I don't want to sound like a fucking douche about it. It's just the second screening now for the Superman movie also had really bad reviews. That's not good. Usually when you read about like a really good movie and they're like the test screenings were all super positive and you're like, "Fuck yeah. Can't wait to see this." They were like test screening 1, not good. Doing reshoots. Test screening 2, not good. No reshoots announced.
But there's what if the people in those test screenings were all Snyder Bros or the same people that said the Flash was going to be awesome? Because
I don't
it's still Warner Brothers, so it very well could have been the same sample group.
I I full-heartedly believe this movie's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I am just a messenger,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
I was a little bit reluctant until I saw the trailer and I was like, this looks amazing. Um, but I don't know, man.
Also, the
Because
Flash looked a lot better in its trailer too.
and James Gunn had his hands in the Flash. I mean, James Gunn was gonna have the guy who made the Flash movie was gonna make the Brave and the Bold. That's
Yeah,
who was gonna do it.
I
So
know,
like,
but we'll talk about that here.
yeah. So it's a little messy, and who knows, and we'll see. And was it July? But
Yeah,
June or July?
I think July 11th.
Yeah, we'll see. And I'll be the first to say it. Like, holy shit, this was an amazing movie. Loved every minute of it, if that's what it is. But I'm a little worried. Andy Machete, right? Machete, who did The Flash, and James Gunn was a part of that too. And that movie was like Venom 2 status good, which is not good at all. And now they're saying that this movie, the test screenings, which have gone through 2 test screenings, which you shouldn't have to do, if it's a good movie.
That's
And
fair.
after the second test screening, they're still saying it's not good.
Yeah.
It's worrisome. Especially for, and the only reason I'm such an ass about it is that Superman's my favorite. My son is
Yeah.
named after him. I have Superman stuff in here. I have fucking Tom Welling's autograph. I have fucking Michael Rosenbaum's autograph. Like I love Superman, and so I think I am allowed to be an asshole about this. I don't
Yeah.
want to be James Gunn. I want this to be good. Please let it be good. But
I
I'm
hope it's
scared.
good. I hope it's good.
Yeah.
In some sad news, Jeff Baena, who is a filmmaker and director and also Aubrey Plaza's husband, was found dead in their home this past week.
Mm.
All that's been released is that it was an apparent suicide. The family, everyone close to him, is just asking for privacy at this point in time. You know, rest in peace. It's tragic. That's
No.
that's about
They
it.
met they met in 2011 on the set of Life After Beth, which was a zombie movie with Dane DeHaan. He was the or her husband was the director on this movie, where basically she died, came back as a zombie, and was like super jealous of him like living his life. It's really funny. It's like a satire. I don't know if you've
Oh,
seen it or not,
I
but
haven't.
yeah, it's really good. And he also did oh God, was it Little Things or something like that? The one with Dave Franco and Aubrey Plaza and like the nuns, and the nuns are just like a bunch of horny like whatever.
The Little
Anyways,
Hours.
Little Hours. I knew it was little something. Um yeah, so it is very sad. It looks like it was an apparent suicide from what has been released, but we don't know much about it. Very sad. They've been
Yeah.
together since 2011. They got married in 2021. So they've been together for a while, and that's very sad.
Yeah.
And if you're, don't be a dick. There's people online already saying mean things like, "Oh my God, that means she's single," and shit like that. And it's like, come
She's
on.
grieving. Yeah.
Yeah, you
That's why
fucking
she
twat.
hasn't said anything publicly. Like, also, I've seen articles and be like, Aubrey Plaza has not responded to public comment. And it's like, yeah, her husband fucking just died. Like,
Yeah,
it's been 3 days. Like,
yeah.
eat a
Fuck off.
dick.
Yeah,
Like, just
yeah,
because she's a celebrity and is in the public eye doesn't mean that she's not
yeah.
hurting and dealing with very
Right.
real things. Just be respectful. Be a
No.
good person. It's not that hard. It really isn't.
I mean, if you live here, it is apparently, but um, we won't go political.
Hmm.
We mentioned it already in our trivia question, but Nintendo is releasing Nintendo Switch 2 in July of 2025, and that's super annoying because now all my games will be obsolete. And I have to buy new ones.
Uh, Based on I'm hoping that it's gonna go the way that the from PS2 to PS4 went, because the overall game design looks very similar. So I'm hoping that it's cross compatible and it'll just like upscale the graphics.
That would be dope.
That would be dope. Because then I'd be much more likely to buy
Because
the Switch 2.
you
I
just bought yours. Sorry.
literally in late September, October of this year. And also, I hope that the docks are cross compatible because I bought them
Oh,
for multiple TVs.
yeah, docking would be a problem.
We got a little bit of a teaser trailer for Happy Gilmore 2. it's gonna be a Netflix film because Adam Sandler is just getting paid out the ass by Netflix. Hopefully, this is it recaptures old school
Hopefully,
happy productions.
hopefully.
I don't. I'm not thrilled that Travis Kelsey's in it.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know. I just why?
yeah. It's the it thing right now, I guess,
Yeah, but why?
because he's
But why?
dating the it thing for the past decade and a half.
Yeah, but why? No, I'm just kidding. I love Taylor Swift. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but why?
yeah.
Jake
Yeah,
Gyllenhaal
I
didn't explode
don't know.
until Taylor's version came out, and then people were like, "Fuck you, Jake," and he's like, "What the fuck? That was 10 years ago." Sorry, I kept a scarf.
What is it? Shooter McGavin is reprising his role. Um, I don't think Shooter is gonna be the bad guy though.
I don't
I
either.
th I think Happy is going to Shooter to help him improve his game
Yeah,
to take on whoever the new bad guy is. Travis Kelsey probably.
I hope that it's actually just like a real PGA pro.
Tiger Woods. You motherfucker.
Oh my god, that's where that came from. Oh, I just made that connection. We've been making that joke for months.
Well, it's from South Park.
Well, yeah, the South Park
Yeah,
Tiger Woods game
yeah.
where half of it is just a GTA knockoff of you running away from Tiger Woods' wife.
Hmm.
Uh, I just, I'm so embarrassed, but I got so excited about that I made that connection.
Um, yeah. Eminem is also supposed to be in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that he had a small part in Funny People with Adam Sandler, but it's pretty small.
Oh yeah.
So I wonder if this is gonna be another like small, like maybe it'll be like, hey, you have to like this is what I'm hoping is another Bob Barker scene
Oh
where
my god. Yeah.
he's forced to like play with a celebrity and then like ends up getting in a fight with that celebrity and getting his ass kicked. That's what I want this to be, what Eminem to be in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
yeah. But yeah, we'll see. Is it going to be shit? Probably. Adam Sandler hasn't put out anything good since Click. Um, other
Uncut
than
Gems.
Uncut Gem. But was that a
Uncut
Happy
Gems.
Madison? Was that a Happy Madison production?
No, that was the first of his like
There you go.
Netflix.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. I get
Yeah.
it.
Sorry, Adam. I was a big fan of yours when I was a kid. As an adult, you have really let me down.
The classics are still enjoyable, but
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
newer stuff, I 100% I agree.
Really want this movie to be good. And I think isn't somebody's supposed to be playing Chubbs's kid, but I forgot who it is.
Oh, wasn't that supposed to be Tiger Woods?
Is it Tiger Woods? No, is it?
I'm
I
looking
don't
it
know.
up.
As we Spock.
Keep talking.
Well, um, the Batman 2 has been pushed back to 2027. This is a huge fucking bummer. Um,
Yeah.
the rumor is because the Brave and the Bold that was supposed to be directed by Andy Muschietti, who we were just talking shit about, um, has been put on pause indefinitely, and that was going to be Batman's introduction to the DCU under James Gunn, but now it's been postponed, and the Batman 2 starring Robert Pattinson has been pushed back to 2027. This is leading a lot of people to think that Robert Pattinson might be getting roped into James Gunn's DCU, which I'd be okay with.
I'm very here for that.
Yeah.
I like that, and also just from what James Gunn has said is Clark is the actual age of what David Corn Sweat is,
Hmm.
and they're looking for someone that's 5 to 8 years older, and Robert Pattinson is.
Hmm.
So we might get a bigger time jump for Robert Pattinson,
Hmm.
but age-wise, it still makes sense. And yes, Tiger Woods is supposed to be playing Chubbs Jr.
Oh, really? Nice. You motherfucker.
We also got a trailer for the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man
Oh,
animated series, which it looks great, but it's
yeah.
definitely not the same universe as Tom Holland
No, it's not
because
even
we
Tom
have
Holland voicing.
well, yeah, but I mean Harry Osborn, you know,
Yeah. Well, we haven't met Harry Osborn yet in that universe yet.
yeah, but the name rings no bells for Tom Holland in the live action, and this is supposed to be like before the events of Civil War, so
Yeah, this
it
is supposed to fill in the gaps between this is supposed to show this is the origin story of Tom Holland and Spider-Man. That's what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to show when we see Spider-Man in his crappy suit in Civil War that Downey, you know, breaks out. This is supposed to show the time before that in that crappy suit.
I think that was the original premise, but also in the trailer we see him get an upgraded suit
Yeah,
from
I saw
from
that, the white and
Osborn.
black suit.
Yeah, so I I think that was the original purpose of the show, and they just kind of reworked it now that there's so much more like multiversal shit going on. And but
We'll see.
who knows?
Yeah,
We'll find
we
out.
will see.
And then the last thing, because your
Oh
love
yeah.
of Superman.
Well, I'll read it the way you wrote it down here. Jason Samoa has been cast
That's an
as
auto correct.
Jason Momoa has been cast officially in the James Gunn universe as Lobo, who he should have played from the fucking beginning, uh,
Who
instead
he
of
wanted to
fucking
play from the fucking
Fish
beginning.
Boy. Yeah. Jason Momoa cast as Lobo. He will make his debut in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow with Millie Alcock. This is gonna be dope. This is when you say like Downey was made to play Iron Man,
Hmm.
shit like that. This is the role that Jason Momoa. I think that years ago when we started this, we even said this
Yeah,
that
I know you did.
Jason Momoa should have been playing Lobo the whole time. Um, and we're finally getting it. This is his role. This is the role that he should be playing in the DCU.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah, brother. I am here for it. All you gotta do is slap some white paint on the guy and give him some red contacts. You don't even have to do CGI or
just gotta
fucking,
over aggressive give him some eye makeup too, you know.
yeah,
But
like you don't have to do CGI. You don't even have to fucking put him in hours and hours of makeup and prosthetics. He already looks like Lobo.
yeah,
He just is Lobo.
give him colored contacts, some eye makeup, and fake teeth.
That's it. He's done.
Done. It's a
Done.
30 minute
Son.
30-minute
Yeah.
chair. All dirt.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I am fucking here for it. I love it. Thank God it finally happened.
Yes.
Can't wait to see it.
One thing that we were stoked to see, uh, because it came out for streaming on New Year's Eve, was Wicked. Really bummed that I had bought tickets multiple times. Well, I bought tickets once and kept being like, I'm not going to go to that. I don't feel great. I don't feel great. I don't feel like three different times was to go see Wicked in theaters, but it came out for streaming on New Year's Eve. Fucking A, man, this movie was so good. I
How much
love musicals.
how much did you hate um
Ariana Grande
yeah,
as Galinda and then Glinda.
Glinda. Glinda.
Yeah.
She's so brave.
I think it she perfectly encapsulated the imposter syndrome
Yeah.
character.
Every time every single there was only like two, so let me walk that back a little bit. There was only like two times in the whole movie where you're like, oh, okay, she's turning a corner. But every single time that she turns a corner, she just goes back to being a little bitch. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, you are the worst. The
That's
worst.
that's literally the point of her character, though. You know.
I know. I've never.
Yeah.
First of all, don't be condescending, dick. First of all,
I'm sorry, I
I've
didn't mean to be.
I've never seen the play, never wanted to see the play. I've never read the books or anything like that. I only know what's been presented in front of me. This was the first time ever for me
Mhm.
seeing anything like that, and she is a fucking twat.
100%.
Yeah.
Like her in and the wizard are.
The wizard I get because the wizard has been that way since the begin since my introduction to the Wizard of Oz with
Yeah.
fucking Judy Garland, and I watched it when I was a kid with my mom, and the wizard has always been a piece of shit,
Yeah.
right? So that I get, but in that movie and every iteration since then, Glinda has always been portrayed as like the good guy and blah blah. And I get that's the point of Wicked is
Mm.
through Elphaba's uh, eyes and stuff like that. So I understand that, but I never like watching the movie. I was like,
Mm.
oh my God, she's so annoying. Oh my God, she's so annoying. And Nicole's like, that's the point. That's the point. And I'm like, yeah, but just
Oh,
yeah.
so I'm condescending, but your wife
Well,
wasn't.
she understood that I have never seen it before. You were just being a dick.
Oh, fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. Yep, that tracks. Uh, I mean, I've still never seen Wicked, like as the play, but just from like knowing about it more than what you did,
Yeah.
it changed my perspective of Galinda back from the Wizard of Oz, and you're like, oh,
Mm.
like she's actually just like a sneaky little bitch, and she's just like trying to get more out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
I
That I
didn't
didn't know.
mean to be condescending. I thought that you knew more
If I
than
was actually mad at you, I would have told you.
yeah.
We're fine.
We
No,
would
I was
have
just
come
I was
back
just
in different clothes for this part of
yeah.
the episode because we would have
Yeah.
had to take a day.
We've only done that like once, maybe
twice,
twice.
twice, but once was because I was really, really drunk. No, I really liked it. Like, yeah, Galinda is like the character is terrible, and quite honestly, a great casting choice to like be the prim and proper like my daddy's rich princess that wants to
Mm.
be more than what she is, and because
There's a
of
very Harry Potter feel to it, right? Like it was like a
yeah,
school for like witches and shit like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
but not as good.
Yeah, well, it's a different conversation. That could be a full pre-show warm-up. Subscribe to buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd. Um, whoop. uh, but I think that Ariana Grande actually like really killed that role, and that
Oh yeah.
hurts because like I've always respected her as a singer. I've always acknowledged that she's been a very talented vocalist. I don't know if this means that she's a good actor because it just seems like an appropriate role for that personality that she could do. So, but I thought that was a really good casting.
Yeah, I guess I don't I I'm a little unbiased about it because I haven't really seen her in anything acting wise. I know that she was like a Disney star,
Mm-hmm.
but she was after my Disney time, so I never watched any of it. So this was like the first like acting credit that I've seen her in.
Yeah,
And I hated her character, but that's how she's supposed to be. So I think she did a good job.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think the oh shit, do you have it pulled up?
Mm-hmm.
The girl who plays Alphaba
Cynthia Erivo.
fucking killed it, dude. She was so fucking good. I've seen her in other stuff. And so I can confidently say that she's a fantastic actor
Yeah.
before knowing that she was gonna play Alphaba in this movie. And then I was like, "Oh shit, that's gonna be her." I didn't even know she could sing.
Oh, she's so it might be a little ahead of nominations, but I really hope that she's nominated for Best Actress. For I'm trying to remember what she does and doesn't have. It's either an Oscar or an Emmy. I hope that she's nominated and that she wins, because not only will she be the youngest uh, actress to ever win a full EGOT, she would be the youngest person of color to ever win an EGOT. Because
That
again, I don't remember if it's an Emmy or an Oscar that she has won and is doesn't have a win on,
I would
but she's also won
assume
a
it.
Grammy and a Tony.
I was gonna say I would assume it's the
I think it's
Emmy and not an Oscar, not yet. Because I don't think she's like pretty new.
well, I mean, she won a Tony for The Color Purple,
Hmm.
um, and then she won a Grammy, I think, also for The Color Purple.
Hmm.
And then yeah, either an Emmy or an Oscar. Uh, I mean, I think she's like 39.
There's a show that I made Nicole watch. I've now seen it twice. It was the first thing that I had ever seen her in. It was called The Outsider. It's a Stephen King HBO show
Oh,
with Jason Bateman and
I've
Ben
never seen it,
Mendelsohn.
but yeah,
It is fucking awesome, dude. And she was awesome in it. And that's why I was like, I didn't even know that she could sing. Because this is the first thing I've ever seen her in. And then all of a sudden, she's in this Wicked. And I'm like, this girl can sing? I didn't know that. And then let me tell you something. She can fucking sing, bro. She outdid. I think Ariana Grande is a very talented singer.
yeah.
And this woman blew her out of the fucking water with her vocals. I was like, holy fucking shit.
And if you've seen like behind the scenes where when like just to match the lips up to the songs,
Hmm.
like while she's like in the harness, like jumping around, especially at the end,
Hmm.
like she sounds rec- like recording quality good as she's being flipped around, thrown across rooms in this harness. That's so incredible.
I the only thing
She's
that
your
bugged
age, by the way. She's just like a couple months older than you,
nice.
Cynthia
What up,
Erivo.
girl? Uh, The only thing that bothered me, and it's no fault of anyone's but my own for not knowing, is that every adaptation of the again, I've never seen the play, I've never read any of it, blah blah blah. I any adaptation of the song that I've heard has been scrunched together, right,
Hmm.
into a song. So like watching the movie. And I'm like, oh, this is the song. Let's go. And it's like spread out through like 15 minutes of screen time. And I'm like, God damn it, quit pausing between the parts of like I'm trying to sing along here. And yeah.
I want to sing along to the something has changed, and if you care to find me, like,
Yeah.
do it.
Also, I didn't know up until I watched the movie because I watch all of my movies with subtitles on. I always thought she said, uh, if you can't find me, look to the western sky.
Oh,
And it's if you care to find me, look to the western sky. And for years, I've been singing that very wrong.
that's really funny because I watched it with subtitles. I knew that lyric, but uh, it's the and if I'm flying solo, I'm finally flying free line. Like in my head,
At least I'm flying for,
yeah,
if I'm flying.
yeah. But it was, as someone once told me, everyone deserves a chance to fly. And then I always thought that the lyric was, and if I'm flying free, like,
If I'm flying solo.
yeah, then I'm flying free, or whatever the actual lyrics were. I was like, that's weird that they say free twice. They don't. That's not the words. One
Yeah.
thing I did really appreciate though was that the original uh, Broadway showing of Elphaba, Galinda, and Fiyero had cameos, which was
Nice.
cool.
Something that Nicole pointed out to me is that, and I was like, holy shit, you're right, because I made her rewind it and we watched it again. But when she was doing the spell, which gave the monkeys the wings,
Hmm.
she was supposed to have wings too, but she didn't get to finish her spell, so the spell went into the broom. And that's
Hmm.
why she can only fly on the broom instead of having wings of her own.
Yeah. And then she
So
tries, but then she tries casting it again, and Glinda's like, "Why are you trying to do this again? Really?" It and it gets interrupted again,
mhm.
which was cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, getting
Fucking fantastic. Go watch it if you can. I don't think it is it out. It's officially out. I've seen
yeah,
ads for it on
yeah, you
my.
can
Yeah.
rent it or buy it.
Not that I
Uh,
watched it before. You could do that, but
yeah, absolutely not.
yeah.
Well, let's talk about our second sponsor before I incriminate myself or Jake does it for me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Talking about flying free.
Yeah, if you want to fly free, you should check out some Raise energy drinks. 0 calories, zero sugar. So then there's zero guilt when you're flying solo and or free. Um, if you don't like energy drinks, they've got a lot to choose from. So listen up, learn how to save 15%. We'll be right back with you to talk about some more nerdy stuff like Dune Prophecy season finale. What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Raise Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with zero crash. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, empowered by their refresh formula technology, Raise Energy delivers a performance enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, zero sugar, and zero carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you.
All right, we are going to briefly talk about Dune Prophecy. This is the season finale. I think season finale, not series finale. They definitely left it open for more. Yeah, it's a little bit longer. It was like an hour and a half, I think, or something like that. Um, we finally find out who Desmond is, who his mom is. We don't find out what happened to him. They kind of mention that something happened to him. That's why his eye is a little wonky, but uh,
Yeah.
but they don't actually say what happened.
Yeah, because a lot of it was under the assumption that by being swallowed by the sandworm is what.
Usually it's the other way around. Uh,
That was good. But yeah, I guess it's like his eye is the carrier of the virus. I don't know.
yeah.
Also, it was greenlit for season 2.
Nice.
On the 23rd of December.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's a pretty cool moment where Tula uses the voice on her sister, Valya,
Valia.
which was dope because I fucking hate Valya. And
I
you're
mean,
supposed to, so
good-
she does a good job.
Good for you, Emily Watson, for like fully portraying this character as some
Yeah.
detestable narcissist.
Mm. But yeah, that was sweet. Because Valya is about to kill Desmond. And Tula was like,
Stop.
yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
best I could do.
It's like a kind of like if you were like having a really deep burp while trying to say something. Stop. Excuse me.
Oh god, that's a chalupa right there.
Yeah,
it it was cool.
it was cool.
Plus, we get to see some of the betrayals over the past couple of weeks actually like come to light.
Hmm.
Getting Inez arrested and then her escaping through the help of Theodosia.
The
Also,
Sisterhood learning that Volya killed all
yeah,
the sisters, but Volya doesn't know
yeah.
that they know.
And what's crazy is that Sister Lila, who is the one that's possessed by Dorothea,
Hmm.
um, like she's only possessed by Dorothea, even though she's also a descendant of Raquella, who is the one that chose Valia to run the sisterhood. But Dorothea was the one that was scorned by it, so like they're only getting one half of the story. Also,
Hmm.
is intriguing to see where it's going to go in season 2, which we just learned a few seconds ago was greenlit.
And you and I had two different theories about why Mark Strong's character killed himself. Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah. Well, I couldn't. Not gonna lie, I was a few drinks deep when I watched it.
What? You?
I know, right?
No.
What an opportunist. Uh, but I couldn't fully remember why, and I thought it was because I should have looked up that sister's name. Because the way that I could plausibly describe her just sounds fucking terrible. And
Well, I'll say my theory while you're looking that
yeah,
up.
thank you.
So, I think so. His wife and Desmond are hooking up. They're bumping uglies. and she basically tells him, Mark Strong's character, or whatever,
Yeah,
that
Haviko.
that you can still be in charge, but you're not really in charge. We're in charge. You're the face of it, but we're behind everything. And he, in the end of the season finale, he kills himself. And I think he does this because one, they can't control him, and two, the throne passes to his daughter rather than his very annoying wife.
Very true.
And now they can't, her and Desmond can't be, they have no claim to the throne anymore if he's dead.
Yeah, like they can't manipulate him from the shadows and be
Yeah.
like, "You're the face, but we're making all the choices here,"
Hmm.
which very much makes sense. But also, Mother Superior Valia went to Sister Francesca, who's the father of Mark Strong's like bastard son, and Sister Francesca was given a blade laced with cyanide to assassinate him,
Hmm.
so that then the throne would pass to Inez, and then they could. It was like both of those situations end up with the same result
Hmm.
of Inez takes the throne or is the rightful heir.
Which is who the sisterhood wanted on the throne.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but when Sister Francesca admitted to the emperor, "I'm supposed to kill you. I don't want to." And he's like, "Well, if the sisterhood wants this, it's going to happen one way or the other, and I don't want to put you in that situation." And that's why I think he killed himself. It was because he was always in love with Sister Francesca,
Mm.
but the arranged marriage for the Empress, which gave them Inez as the rightful heir. But he's like, "I don't want to implicate the woman I actually love, so I'll just kill
Yeah.
myself." Same result.
Yeah.
It's just different motive.
The why.
Why?
Why.
Well, and let's talk about the. Unless you have more that you want to talk about this show, I am excited to know that it was got the go ahead for a season 2, because the way that it ended still doesn't answer a lot of questions.
Yeah.
It really sets up for multiple seasons. But I also, they're covering 10,000 years. I don't want them to
Forgot you were here.
let this run for 10,000 years worth of fucking history. Either time jumps or leave it in a way to where
Yeah.
the natural progression of where Dune picks up makes sense. Let's talk about Creature Commandos.
Let's.
Go for it.
It's about a bunch of commandos that are creatures.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
motherfucker.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um, well, basically, right now, the new mission that's been given to the bride instead of Rick Flag Sr. is to kill the princess.
Mhm.
And they're trying to do that right now. Um, Frankenstein still might be my favorite character. He's cracking me up.
He's
Have
so
have you seen
naive.
have you seen Titanic? Yeah, not a lot of people have. Um, it's a love story.
Kind of like just being in the presence of someone, is just so overwhelming. Like, have you seen the movie when Harry met Sally, and they were in that diner?
Yeah.
That kind of
Yes,
love.
yes, I've seen it. Yeah, okay. And then it continues to tell him.
I don't think that's the kind of I don't think you saw the same scene.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, I'm liking it. This is what gives me a little bit of hope. The Weasel episode is heartbreaking because we know from the Suicide Squad with the one that James Gunn did that Weasel apparently had murdered 6 children, and everybody was like, "Oh, fuck this guy," then you know. But in this episode 3, you get to see that Weasel was trying to save them. He didn't
Yeah,
murder any
and
of them. It was actually the police
he was
that
kind of like
fucked
an
everything up.
adoptive dog
Yeah,
esque for these kids, and they were playing with
yeah,
him. They accidentally start a fire. He's trying to save them. Yeah, and then like you said, the police intervene, or like also the groundskeeper of the school,
yeah.
and
Who's the one who called the police?
yeah, and shot a couple of the kids
Yeah,
trying to hit Weasel.
Weasel. Yeah,
It's like, oh man,
yeah. That was a heartbreaking episode.
it was.
It was pretty sad.
And then the Doctor Phosphorus episode.
Ooh,
What's cool
I knew
is
right away. I knew right away.
that that's where we saw Batman. Yeah.
The opening song for that
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
episode is the old school animated series Batman theme song. That
I
dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Right, that's how
I
the
was
episode
gonna do
opened.
that, but in my head before I started doing that, it was the X-Men theme. No, 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 and I was like, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Close.
Very close.
Slowed down.
Danny
Not
Elfman,
a- yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, ooh, because I knew that we were gonna see Batman at some point because TikTok, online, whatever. And I was like, oh, that's dope. And then when the episode opened up, I was like, oh, this is the episode.
I didn't catch that. You're the one that pointed that out to me. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm a bad nerd. The show's really fun, and we got back to Go Go Bordello.
Reality.
Oh yeah, that too.
Back to life. Back to reality.
Oh, I thought that because we're playing
Nope, I
Detroit
was just being
tonight,
dumb.
that we're gonna snap back to reality. Oh, there goes Rabbit.
Ah, so cynical.
Ka-chow, ka-chow. They're not gonna listen this far into the episode to realize that we're making fun of them.
They don't listen to this anyway.
What bad friends. I'm just kidding. They showed up to Comic Con. And they won't know that we're talking about them because they're not going to listen this far. No, I'm enjoying the show, which is interesting because after the first 2 episodes that dropped when it first aired, I was like, eh,
This isn't it.
yeah,
Yeah.
this ain't the jam.
But go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself.
Fuck.
Yeah. I am
How do you
I'm
do you think that the show is gonna? Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. I was tightening my
Yeah, your chastity belt. I get
Do
it.
I think the show's gonna what?
Do you think that it's going to wrap up cleanly? Because there's only 2 episodes left, I think.
I think so. I don't think I don't know if we're gonna get a season 2 of this.
What about a live action? Because they describe early on that the Suicide Squad was cut down because you can't use like human prisoners.
I don't know if we would get a live action Creature Commando like movie or series, but I think that they're just gonna show up
Hmm.
in other projects. Obviously, Frank. I almost said
Yeah.
Frank Castle.
Oh,
Uh,
Frank Grillo.
Frank Grillo's character is in Superman as the same character that he is in Creature Commandos. There is high speculation that Cersei is the one creating that pink beam
Oh
in
yeah.
the poster. Because for Superman, where there's like the green, which is like Brainiac, or at least we assume, and then there's like a pink beam that's colliding with it, but who in the trailer
Can do that.
of
No.
introduced characters has a pink beam?
Oh, not a pink beam. But what if the green isn't Brainiac, but
A
uh,
lantern?
yeah,
Eh.
I agreed. But
I Guy Gardner is not the one, bro.
I hope that we just because it's shown up in animated series or movies, it's shown up in comics, and we know that we're getting a Lantern show. With John Stewart and Hal
Hal Jordan.
Jordan. Thank you. I almost said Hal Gordon. I was like, that's not right. I hope that we get that interaction that we've seen where they're like, but there's a third lantern on Earth. And they're like, no, no, not him. We don't talk about him. No, no, no. I hope it's a one and done.
Yeah, hopefully. Probably not, since him
They're
and
like
James
best
Gunn
friends.
suck each
Yeah.
other's.
Nipples. Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. Trying to keep it a little more PG.
No, that's not
Cocks.
what our podcast is about. Yeah,
Cocks.
their fingers are tightly.
Around each other's prostates. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. It's the
yeah,
male G spot, supposedly.
yeah. Apparently, I've seen Road Trip. I know. Uh,
Never tried it myself.
Stifler. Uh, anyways, let's close this episode out.
Yeah, okay.
Creature Commandos is fantastic. There's a lot of stuff happening. We've talked about like 6 or 7 different shows in this episode because we had to take a week break. It's a lot to get through. We're
Also, sorry for
sorry.
the long run time, but
We're sorry.
yeah, it's time to close out.
All right, before we close out this episode, we are going to talk about our honorable mentions. Chad, what do you have?
Oh, not nearly as much as you would expect because we talked about a lot already in the episode. That was a lot of it.
Hmm.
Um, Finished watching Shrinking. The season 2 finale happened. I watched Across the Universe after watching Wicked because I've been kind of on a musical kick, and I forgot how trippy that movie gets. It was really fun with like the lights around the TV.
Hmm.
And then, unfortunately, but so that we can talk about it, and we'll get into it after you get through yours, is watched Craven. I watched Craven. It was horseshit. What about you? Yeah, let's talk about the positives.
Well, I also finished up Shrinking season 2. We watched a movie last night called My Old Ass with Aubrey Plaza. It was something. Um,
By the sounds of it, it just wasn't for you.
it wasn't a bad movie. Like, there was nothing bad about it. It wasn't like, oh my God, the acting and everything is terrible. It was just not good.
It was
The movie just was.
it's like a chick flick, by the sounds of it. Which I know sounds super sexist, and I'm sorry, but
I don't.
that's
Yeah, I
not
don't
what
know
I
how
mean
to.
by it.
I wouldn't call it a necessarily a chick flick, but it was just a dumb movie. If that clears it up a little bit.
So
Um,
much.
I also watched Craven, and I share your thoughts. It was garbage, garbage, if you're gonna try to fancy it up a little bit.
I haven't seen my grandmother since that. And then she died, and I haven't seen her since. Well, no fucking shit.
Yeah, she's dead.
It's almost like he knew my mother back when she was in the Amazon studying spiders.
I think one of my biggest problems with the movie was the wire work was so
Apparent.
bad, dude. It was like fucking Twilight. It was bad. It was yeah, exactly. It was like just like finger tipping a tree while someone's just hoisting you up and your feet are just kind of like dangling in the air and it was like, come on, man. And even like the fight scenes where Craven's like flying through there, jumping off of like a moving vehicle, it was very much like, huh, land. It was so bad.
Please, for anyone that is still this late in the episode, please be on YouTube just to watch Jake shimmy for that description.
Do you know what I'm talking about though?
Yes.
It was terrible.
And
Terrible.
also, the guy that played Alexi, whatever, the Rhino,
Oh, yeah.
just wants everyone to be his partner.
Yeah.
So I had this idea. We could be partners. Okay. No. Hey, you. You want to be my partner? Are you my mother? Are you my partner? It was terrible. And then his final lines after asking every single Kravinoff multiple times, do you want to be my partner? Goes, I wish I never met you, Kravinoffs. It's like, really? Because you wanted to be their partner like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't great.
I'm so glad that there wasn't a post-credit scene for that. Well, I think that they took the post-credit scene and then just like put it before the credits because they're like, we're not
Well, like
getting another movie.
one of the parts that you pointed out to me, which I thought was hilarious, is like in the beginning when Craven like escapes prison, gets on the cargo plane in the fucking middle of like the Arctic, and then just takes his shirt off and is like, oh, and sits down. And then when the plane lands, he puts his dirty shirt back on. And I was like, why did you even take your, we get it. I know why, right? We got to see ATJ's fucking abs, but we
Yeah.
could have done better than that.
You are
Could've been
in
a
like
better
the
spot to do
Arctic
it.
Siberian winter
Yeah.
desert.
Jesus Christ. It
You
was so
take
bad.
off your shirt on a cargo plane that's not insulated.
Yeah.
You land in southern Russia where it's like a brisk 72 degrees. And then you put on the same sweaty, wet clothes that you took off and are like, well, time to get comfortable. And I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
I think my biggest issue with this movie, and it's been all of the Sony movies, is that they try to make a villain, a ruthless murderer, this like likable fucking character. Oh, I
Because
have
they
a
can't
code.
use the actual superhero for
Yeah.
any of these
Yeah.
movies.
He's like, I have a code, because like the one chick is like, oh, you kill people, and he's like, I have a code, and it's like, no, you fucking don't. That's the point of being a villain, is you don't have a code. You ruthlessly hunt and kill shit for sport. That is Craven's whole MO.
Yeah.
That's why he goes after Spider-Man, is he thinks it would be a fun hunt. Not because he thinks Spider-Man needs to die for any particular reason.
Yeah.
He's just
He
like, oh yeah,
he's
this
like,
should be fun.
that's the apex predator. I'm gonna
Yeah.
kill it.
Like, my God, and they make him this like, oh, poachers are bad. Poachers are fucking bad. Let's get to the
Yeah.
to the
We're,
point.
we're not
But
breezing over that part.
yeah, but he's just like, oh, poachers, I'm gonna kill them, and I only kill. But yeah, they tried to make him like Dexter Morgan, like the serial killer that only kills other serial killers. I was like, God fucking damn it, would you guys fucking stop with this bullshit? I'm so fucking happy that the Sonyverse is dead.
Yes. And like it's all started with Venom, who has waffled in the comics, but it's always out of like necessity to like survive. It wasn't because he actually cared about eliminating bad guys. He was like, that bad guy can end me, so I'll partner up with this hero, get rid of them, and then I can go back to being a fucking menace and doing what I want. And then they're like, hey, what about that like vampire guy? Oh yeah, we can put him up against another vampire guy, and he can be the better of the two.
That
Oh,
movie was terrible.
Craven the
Terrible.
Hunter
The only
doesn't hunt.
the only good thing I can say about Morbius was that
It looked cool.
they, well, it did. So two things good I can say about it. Is that they did get the beginning part of it right. Like Morbius wasn't a bad guy originally. Dr.
Hmm.
Morbius was a good guy who was sick, who was trying to help other sick people and used the cure on himself that turned him into a monster. But once he became a monster, he was a vicious killer.
Hmm.
And that's where they like strayed from it in the movie. They were like, he's still a good guy. He just, needs blood to feed. And it's like,
Also, back to Craven, he had that potion was used a couple of times in the movie,
hmm
which in the comics, that's what gives him like the bonus strength, helps him heal.
no.
But it was only meant to heal, and because like a lion bit him and he punched it and it got a bloody nose, their blood's mixed, and then he was like, "Oh my god, I've got eagle vision." I was like, "But it was a lion."
Well, the thing is, this is a, yeah, I don't know what that is. Maybe that's something lions can do is like aerial view.
Yeah, or just control other animals. You know,
It
that's
is
that's
it,
why they're
it
so good.
is it is something that tracks with Spider-Man is the that's why in the Amazing Spider-Man they wanted the serum so bad is so that they could make those cross species, genetics. That's why
Yeah,
the lizard turned into a lizard, Spider-Man turned into the
but
Spider-Man.
he was
You know,
still a villain.
it's the same, even though they can't say it, technically it's the same serum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is kind of along the lines of like the Ultimate Spider-Man, like comic line, where they had a bunch of different like animals that they could use for different cures, which is how we got this rhino. Other than
That's
his
what
other than his face and the fact that he still had a like a diabetic pump.
port. He had
Uh,
like a freaking port, like a cancer patient, like a port. Yeah.
yeah, that
It's
too.
administered. Yeah.
Uh,
Though that was one of the things that always bothered me about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans is that he just got bit by a spider and then turned into Spider-Man, and it was like, well, if that was the case, anybody could get bit by that spider and become Spider-Man. That's what I loved about the Amazing Spider-Man is that they showed how and why. It was because the serum that his parents were Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker's Spider-Man's parents were working on, um, in order to hide it to keep it away from Osborn, they injected it into their son. And then when he got bit by the spider, which was never
well,
supposed to happen,
yeah,
that cross species, um,
yeah. They
yeah,
Richard Parker used his own DNA, so Peter had it.
mm,
Yeah,
that was awesome. The
made
Amazing
sense.
Spider-Man should have been
So
fucking
underrated.
peak Spider-Man.
And
Ugh.
I will admit, for a long time, the Amazing Spider-Man 2, I shit all over.
I just didn't
Now
like
that
the
I'm
ending, but I really loved the movie.
yeah, going back on it like older years later, I'm like, this is
Older
it.
years later,
It's
or older, comma years later. I got it.
yeah.
Now I got it.
There
Yeah.
was it's an Oxford comma. It you don't necessarily pause, but it's there. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
I'm sorry.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it was, yeah. We should end this. You don't have to go watch Craven. It's not needed.
Don't.
Uh,
Yeah. It's. We just told you
if
everything you
if
needed
you
to
want
know
to
about it.
laugh and be like, yeah, yeah, go watch it.
There are better ATJ movies with his shirt off. You don't need to see this one.
And somewhere he looks even better, still fully clothed the entire time.
Bullet Train.
Yeah. Thank you for once again in this episode saying the quiet part out loud, but this part was better. Regardless, we love you for being a listener, for being a fan. We really appreciate it. Check out our website over at allthingsnerdpod.com. If you need help building a website, building a brand, growing it, any sort of planning, check out Marty over at Digicat Tech. He's also in the process of rebranding, so this name might not be relevant in the future, but then just ask us. If you like live play, tabletop RPG podcast, check out the Kobolds in the Basement. It's hosted by myself. Jake has been on it. It's a D&D podcast. Once so far. Technically twice. Again, that's Kobolds in the Basement podcast. Again, go check out our Buy Me a Coffee, which is buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd. We love you. Sorry for the long episode. We took a week off for the holidays. We appreciate you. But this has been the All Things Nerd podcast.
Oh, hold on. Let me get the nerd. Oh, you can't even see it. Lame.